It's been completely eye-opening for me to see such a large organization such as Suncor take such a high regard for the IYAC, like for IYAC in general. It's nice to see how much respect that Suncor has for us.
I applaud those working at Suncor for being in rooms with us. We aren't afraid to ask hard questions. We aren't afraid to ask awkward questions. We aren't afraid to push them. And it also takes a lot of humility to be in spaces where you might not understand that perspective. You might not understand Indigenous viewpoints or Indigenous culture or Indigenous ceremony, but it's extremely important to have humility in the work that you're doing. I know humility and corporations don't really go hand in hand, but when we use humility, we can actually open our eyes to seeing things from a different way, and the world will always be a better place when we work with humility and when we work together.
The experience with the Indigenous Youth Advisory Council has been one of the most unique experiences that I've had at Suncor and actually in my personal life. The exploration and the discussion and exchange on what it means to be in different relationships and the depth at which I feel like we're getting to in really discussing tough topics and also exchanging ideas about how we move forward has really been exceptional.
I hope that they understand that we are Indigenous youth at the base, that we are coming into a very difficult space, and that there are so many other Indigenous youth that didn't have the opportunity to be invited or don't feel the confidence that let their voice be spoken. I want them to understand how much we've gone through by hearing our words, and that, you know, we're not, just because we're here in a difficult space, that, you know, we're the ones that should be seen. It should be all the other Indigenous youth who are going through drug abuse, who are going through alcoholism and all these really hard things, that they deserve just as much energy from Suncor than we do.
I think this interaction has brought us a lot closer with Suncor in a way. I think it was also nice for our new members to like meet the SEF board and interact with them and like just get to meet everybody and know everybody and become closer with us now. And I think we've also expressed back to Suncor and the SEF board how we're feeling and what the future is going to hold, and how much passion we have and how we're going to go forward together. I think that's what this has all really been about, is how we're going to move forward together and better the future, because we got to do something.
IYAC has affected me both professionally and personally. I'm finding that I'm craving, is the word I would use, a deeper understanding of Indigenous culture, and IYAC is a big part of me asking those questions. They are relearning their culture in some ways after some of the terrible things that have happened over the last number of decades, and as they find their wings and ways, and that I'm craving to understand and try to experience my version of that as we go forward.
We're all working kind of towards a similar goal, and my goal within IYAC has really been to have my voice heard, educate those within Suncor, and I'm learning from them as well, but having our voice heard by them is so empowering and really gives me hope for future generations, and gives me hope that they'll grow into a better company overall.
We're working very closely with the Indigenous Youth Advisory Council. You know, it's not easy, and I think there's a lot more we can do. This recommitment to the relationship, to what the council is to us, the wonderful, smart, energetic youth that are part of that council, pushing us and coming to terms with the fact that there is a relationship, but there's a lot we have to do together. We cannot solve this, either one of us, on our own. And for that group of young people to be part of a conversation that is very difficult for them, they have to balance two worlds very, very closely. And working very closely with that group to make sure that we're doing the right things, that we're learning, that we're vulnerable, that we have humility in the relationship, and doing the right things as an organization and feeding that.
I'm really, passionate about helping them to achieve that. I think our voices are 100% necessary. And I speak passionately, like, when I'm with them, because it comes from a deep place. It comes from, a place of wanting future generations to live in a world that is safe and healthy, for wanting organizations to connect and engage with Indigenous peoples, to bring them to the table like at the start, rather than just checking a box at the end. A lot of Suncor executives and like different members of the staff team, they talk about like how brave and courageous we are as youth. It feels normal and natural for us to step into those roles because we're recognized as leaders within our own culture. So it's always surprising to me how surprising we are to others, because for me it feels normal. It feels normal to care about deep things. It feels normal to want to create impact and change. And it feels normal to not be afraid to speak the truth to people.
Yesterday we were challenged by the Indigenous Youth Council, the members. They asked us hard questions, and they want to give us advice. They want to talk about what they see as some of the challenges and the hard stuff. And to me, that's what this relationship is. It's about being willing to work through those hard things, but being in relationship is worth it. And as a co-pipe carrier, I'm not only committed to the relationship, but I'm committed that to go to my peers, to go to those at Suncor, and to advocate for this relationship, to listen, to respect the young people who have committed to walk with us.
I think I'm most looking forward to that change being felt by these young leaders. I'm most looking forward to Suncor actually making the shifts necessary to address what the worries and the interests of these young leaders are, and then the young leaders being able to say, I was a part of that change. It was from the work that I did so deeply in that organization. I now see them behaving differently, and I'm really looking forward to that day. It's starting to happen now, and I see there being more of it in the future.
For me, relationship is the basic of everything. And many people don't always understand what relationship means. But relationship is really getting to know one another on that very, very personal base. Just like when you create a relationship with the water, you can go back to that water spot and you know that the water is listening to you. Water has memory. And I think that when the youth are creating this relationship between each other, they're starting to feel too that they are in, how can I say, they feel safe. They feel that they can almost tell each other anything now, and we've only been together like 4 days, so it's amazing, all the things. And I think that, all the activities that we're doing, seeing everybody's strength, seeing everybody's weakness, and that's also part of creating relationship.
In a lot of the discussions that we have between like IYAC and different like staff or Suncor folks or staff is the strong focus on relationships and building good relations, having elements of like reciprocity, trust, open communication. I think that comes from a very real place. I think that it's genuine. I certainly feel a strong sense of relationship, and I think that we both put a lot of time and effort into creating what I think is a beautiful relationship. I look forward to evaluating and working on how we can create true impact. But I do want to say, like, I think that the relationship is there. I think it's a beautiful one.